Okay, I'm so sorry. For the information, currently there are 122 online participants and 30 offline participants in Indonesian room, and around 90 online participants in APES room. Well, that was only the beginning. Moving the right along, we have a very special keynote speaker from Indonesia. It's now my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Dr. Dean of Tourism Department, Pancasila University, Dr. Devi Kausar. The stage is yours. Please give a big applause for our moderator.
Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for giving the session to me. And we are going to enter the ecotourism talks from 3 speakers. We have 2 speakers offline with us right now, and 1 speaker who will join us online. And since we have them with us right now, I would like to invite Bapak Wiratno, Master of Science. Could you please come to the stage? And our second speaker is Ms. Wita Simatupang from Indonesia Ecotourism Network. Okay, and do we have Pak David Marcus online? Pak David, can you hear us? Okay, maybe not yet. Okay, maybe he's still connecting. So, good afternoon, Pak Wiratno and Bu Wita. It's we are very delighted to have you here. Welcome to the Asia Pacific Ecotourism Summit 2022. We are looking at 20 years after the International Ecotourism Summit in Quebec, Canada. Okay, we have Pak David. Pak David, good afternoon, Pak. Can you hear us? Okay, could you please try say something so we can make sure that we can hear you?
Yes, thank you so much, Bu Devi. Nice to see you, Pak Wiratno and Bu Wita. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bapak. Welcome to the talks. So we have 3 speakers with us right now, and I would like to introduce all of them first. We have Mr. Wiratno, who is the Director General of Natural Resources Conservation and Ecosystem in the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, Republic of Indonesia. And he has been in his position since June 2017. Right. And Mr. Wiratno has held various roles in the Ministry of Forestry since joining the institution in 1989. And Mr. Wiratno graduated from the Faculty of Forestry at Gajah Mada University in Yogyakarta in 1988. And he also holds a master's degree in survey integration for resource development from ITC Enschede, the Netherlands. And I think I would also like to introduce Pak David Marcus so then we can have all 3 sessions later. Yeah. Mr. David Marcus is the founder and CEO of Sustainable Management Group, and he was also involved in several task forces and projects within the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, namely as the head of Acceleration Team for Ecotourism Development from 2016 to 2019. And he is also one of the judges for Indonesia Sustainable Tourism Award from 2017 to 2019. And for our third speaker, we have Ms. Wita Simatupang, who is the Program Development Manager of Indonesia Ecotourism Network. And Ms. Wita has developed long involvement in tourism development projects with the ministries and also international donors, local government, and community groups. She holds a bachelor degree of architecture from Institute of Technology, Bandung, and a master's in building and urban design in development, University College, London. So for the three speakers, the division is like this. Mr. Wiratno will talk about ecotourism in conservation area in Indonesia. And Mr. David Marcus will talk mainly about investment in ecotourism in Indonesia. And Ms. Wita will give us some insights on community-based ecotourism in Indonesia. And I think we can start with Pak Wiratno. Do you have any PPT, Pak, or PPT to show? Okay, can we have Mr. Wiratno's slide?
I have one PPT, very short, and then first as we can listen the jingle Ayo ke Taman Nasional, and the third is a very classic example of ecotourism in Tangkang, where Bu Kiki and Pak Ari also, especially Pak Ari helped me when I was there as a park director, a park manager and leisure. So my time is on my 15 minutes, yeah?
Yes, 15 minutes,
okay.
Sir.
Pak Skandar,
please.
Can we enjoy first the Ayo ke Taman Nasional?
Yo jelajahi rimba, telusuri gua, yo selami laut dan daki gunung-gunungnya. Yo pahamilah fenomena alamnya,
mempesona tiada tara.
Ayo ke Taman Nasional, ayo ke Taman Wisata Alam. Wisata alam bukan wisata biasa, menggelakan jiwa raga. Ayo ke Taman Nasional, yo jelajahi rimba, telusuri gua, yo selami laut dan daki gunung-gunungnya.
Yo pahamilah fenomena alamnya, mempesona tiada tara.
Ayo ke Taman Nasional, ayo ke Taman Wisata Alam. Wisata alam bukan wisata biasa, menyehatkan jiwa raga. Ayo ke Taman Nasional, ayo ke Taman Nasional.
Okay, that is the jingle of the Taman Nasional. Later we can sing together. Okay, my PPT aku dari sini aja ya Mbak ya, biar ini santai. Materinya oke udah. Oke. Aku kan kelihatan di TV ya. Okay, go ahead, Pak Is. Ecotourism and protected areas. It is not only tourism, but the ecotourism, special interest tourism. This is all this. We have 27.14 million hectare of protected areas and 16 million hectare. 16 million hectare is a national park. Located in the 54 location. We have 54 national parks across this country, and we have 123 recreation park. Our national park, also our protected areas, is surrounded by 6,400 villages, meaning that if we want to develop ecotourism, we have to work with the villagers, the village-based ecotourism. Even though we will have also the high-end tourism, but still we have to give them villagers as one of the key player. And our protected areas also, many of them established as World Heritage, like in Komodo, Ujung Kulon, Loser, Kerinci. Also, we have a national park that have an biosphere reserve, both of them by UNESCO, and we have also Ramsar site, a Ramsar area that is very important for the wetland, like in Pulau Rambut, Berbak Sembilang National Park, and others area. So that is the situation. Yeah. And next. Yeah. In the last 2 years, I think the visitor dropped drastically, almost I think almost zero, Pari, zero foreign tourists. 2 years, yeah, that's the situation. And we reopen the area based on the recommendation of the COVID, Satgas COVID in the province or especially in the Kabupaten. It is a problem. So when we depending on the foreign tourists, like in Tangkahan is very famous. Later we can see 5 minutes of the Tangkahan community-based ecotourism and Loser with 5 to 6,000 foreign visitor to Tangkahan. But now almost zero, still zero. Yeah. So after COVID, that is the question. After COVID, we have to change the way we run tourism business, also especially the ecotourism. Next. Yeah, and we use like the payment paragraph. They have a virtual tour, but virtual tour is, I think, is not. It's, even though it is important, but it is Pari is tasteless, because when we go to the jungle, that is the situation where we can enjoy directly. Sensing is very important, and we are also developing the forest healing. And we work with Dr. Hikmat from ITB here to develop many new initiative. Yeah, virtual tour also one of the key to satisfy. But COVID is also give a positive impact, like in Baluran. When there is no tourist at all in Baluran, and then the many wildlife come up and show themselves. Where is the visitor? They're asking like that. There is no, normally we open yesterday, 1st January we open Baluran, and this is a problem always. Yeah. Even though we gave a step-by-step reopening, but there are at least one day 2,500 visitors, I think it is still a lot. We have to manage the visitor. We need visitor management. Lanjut, this is the virtual tour. Terima kasih Pak Nandang, Director of Ecotourism. And we have also, you can open the application of the pariwisata alam Indonesia ya, from the Google, from apa? From Android, you can open yourself, enjoy the beauty of the park and recreation park. We can open through Play Store and apa tuh? iOS, in iOS. Bisa dibuka di iOS sekarang ya. Oke, go ahead. Online booking and carrying capacity. We want quality tourism, not the number. The problem now is Bu Kiki, for foreign tourists, we can only charge $10 ya, $10. And for turis Nusantara, for lokal turis berapa? 5.000 berapa? 5.000 itu berapa dolar? $0.50. So now we try to readjust with the Kementerian Keuangan for that ya. Go ahead, online booking, carrying capacity. That's it. My presentation, but we can enjoy again the Tangkahan story. It's been 20 years before they are illegal logger, and they are becoming a forest guard, and we give them right now. I did MOU with the community. They have to guard 3,600 hectares of part of the Leuser National Park for the tourism activities, and in return we give them the right to do ecotourism. Oke, Pak Is silakan.
Kalau Tangkahan tidak ada ekoturism, mungkin hari ini hutan di sana sudah habis, karena kami juga butuh kehidupan dan kami akan melakukan apapun agar kami bisa hidup, karena kami juga makhluk hidup yang punya hak untuk hidup di muka bumi ini.
Sebelum ekowisata, saya adalah illegal logger. Pengambilan kayu dari hutan itu tidak tabu. Semua masyarakat mengambil itu.
Saya dulu ditangkap sama aparat, dihukum 2 tahun begitu, dan di penjara saya berpikir apa sih harus kuperbuat sekembalinya aku dari penjara, karena kakek saya juga, bapak saya pemain illegal logging dan saya juga, tapi saya berpikir kalau saya nggak berubah mungkin anak saya juga mungkin bisa seperti nasib yang saya alami seperti itu.
Alasan saya dari pelaku illegal lodging menjadi pelaku pariwisata itu adalah karena melihat dampak negatif dari pelaku illegal lodging itu, kita berubah mindset tersebut menjadi pelaku pariwisata dan kita mendapat keuntungan dengan menjaga hutan. Paket wisata gajah yang ditawarkan kepada wisatawan itu seperti memandikan gajah, berjalan bersama dengan gajah. Nah, jadi para turis dapat melihat dan mempelajari bagaimana sifat gajah di dalam hutan.
All the things that we've done in Northern Sumatra have been kind of ecotourism, and it's really nice to see that it's not just foreigners coming in, giving money, going away. Everything's being fed back into the communities so they can empower themselves, so they have alternatives to being in the palm oil industry or logging or all of those things which are destroying this habitat, because it's beautiful.
semua masuk tamu tangkahan melalui CTO. Datang tamu tangkahan, kamu mau tempat di mana begitu, nggak ada harus di sini, nggak boleh seperti itu. Pemerataan itu bukan semua sama ya kan, tapi semua mendapat sekarang ini. Bagi masyarakat yang nampak jelas sekali keuntungannya, pendidikan bahasa Inggris didanai daripada ya kita sendiri, lembaga kita.
Anggota CU kebanyakan bekerja di ekowisata dan anggota wisata meminjam uang ke pihak CU untuk memodali modal usaha mereka. Karena begitu pesat pendapatan di ekowisata, mereka mengembalikan uang CU tepat waktu.
Moto kami sekarang ini bersama Ranger, kita menjual hutan tapi tanpa memotong kayu. Kita setiap hari Jumat itu melakukan patroli di perbatasan Taman Nasional dan masyarakat. Kita kerjasama dengan ranger-ranger yang ada di tangkahan ini. Yang kita fokuskan kalau patroli di batas Taman Nasional dan lahan masyarakat itu ada aktivitas ilegal seperti pemasangan jerat satwa.
Kawasan konservasi penting karena dia bukan warisan dari nenek moyang tetapi pinjaman dari generasi yang akan datang. Pemerintah mempunyai kewajiban untuk menjaga manfaat dan nilai kualitasnya kawasan konservasi untuk kepentingan generasi mendatang. Komitmen pemerintah dalam hal ini Dijen KSDAE adalah membangun role model sehingga keberhasilan tangkahan bisa direplikasi di tempat lain dan ada proses pembelajaran.
Kemitraan sangat tertarik untuk mendukung tangkahan karena ini model hidup yang bisa kita tampilkan kepada nasional dan internasional. Masyarakat mempunyai kesadaran sendiri. Perubahan dari illegal loggers menjadi penjaga dan pelindung alam itu sangat jarang terjadi dan ternyata bisa dilakukan. Artinya adalah sebetulnya masyarakat jika punya keinginan yang baik untuk memperoleh hasil bukan dari kayu namun dari wisata alam bisa terjadi.
Keseimbangan adalah kunci untuk mendapatkan harmonisasi, karena harmonisasi kehidupan antara manusia dengan alam sekitarnya adalah jaminan buat keberlanjutan kehidupan di muka bumi ini.
Jadi the impact of ecotourism is not only for the local economy, but also the positive impact for the ecology and the sustainability of the forest. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Pak Wiratno. And can we please have one more round of applause for Mr. Wiratno? With an inspiring presentation. We have seen together two films. The first one was titled Let's Go to National Park. And the last one is about how the Tangkahan community shifted from being involved in illegal activities such as hunting, logging, and poaching to being a player of ecotourism. And from Mr. Wiratno's presentation, he also highlighted, with the COVID-19 pandemic, nature tourism has a strong opportunity for tourism, for restoring tourism through nature tourism. And then some of the new things, some of the new things that were done in line with the COVID-19 pandemics is managing online bookings and also carrying capacity, which is becoming more and more important because we are not talking about quantity anymore. We are talking about quality tourism. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please hold your question because we are going to have the question and answer session at the end of the webinar talks. And we will come to our second speaker, Mr. David Marcus, who will talk about the investment in ecotourism in Indonesia. Mr. David Marcus.
Yeah, thank you, moderator. Thank you, Bodevi. Please add my presentation. Upload my presentation, please. Yeah, very good morning to all His Excellencies, ministers, and of course my best partners, Pak Wiratno and Bu Kiki, and my old friends Ari, Masaru, and Mihi, all speakers and participants. First of all, I think it's still related. Happy New Year, new spirit and new dreams. In this occasion, on this Asia Pacific Ecotourism Summit 2022, I was asked to share my views on ecotourism resort management in a different packaging for a special market and especially after COVID. Next, please. Area of the ecotourism is very wide, and because the time for my presentation is limited, I will share my views and experiences specifically on ecotourism, which is located in a conservation area, as we know, administratively under the management of Pak Wiratno and his team. Besides the location is within conservation area, the ecotourism that I will share in my presentation is about ecotourism based on nature and culture tourism. The presentation is also cover an ecotourism for high-end eco-resort management. Next, please. We often think that ecotourism enthusiasts are dominated by hardcore ecotourists, which is not always the case. Time flies so fast. Now we have a significant number of Gen Y and Gen Z. This generation with its digital developments create a special ecotourism market. There are tourists who are happy to see their presence on social media. There are tourists who like ecotourism. They like nature and culture, but while on vacation to ecotourism spots, they still want to enjoy comfortable accommodations with attractive design because it's related to their selfie, and also they don't want to separate it from delicious food as their culinary experience, as well as service. I call them as ecotourism lover. So this is the first potential high-end ecotourism target market. Second is the market of people who love pure nature, who are looking for tranquility, a beautiful scenery, and rare nature anomalies and biodiversity. This type of tourists, especially the Gen Z, also demands for good stylish accommodation and good quality F&B. Third and last is the group of tourists created due to the COVID pandemic. They tend to look for outdoor holidays destinations. They are not necessarily ecotourists, but the destination they are interested with are often ecotourism destinations. They assume that outdoor attraction and activities, including standalone type of accommodation like villas, can reduce them from contracting COVID during their holidays. Next, please. The market that I mentioned earlier want a specific service, among others. First is personal service. For them, it is a matter of pride if their existence is appreciated personally. They also want to have a different culinary experience, both in terms of presentations and menu. Third, especially for the market who wants to be healthy and find peace, they need a quality spa facility to recharge their energy after they are tired of doing their outdoor activities. Next, please. This picture is an example of a quality F&B in a high-end ecotourism destination. Served on the edge of mangrove forest with a 5-star presentation and menu. As seen in this picture, selfies are always a part of this experience. Next, please. This is another picture of high-end F&B with a different experience in a national park destinations. Both are in the same destination. Next, please. This picture shows a 5-star spa facility in a national park, which can provide relaxation for tourists who have finished trekking or birdwatching or canoeing. Next, please. Apart from service, amenities are another thing that a high-end ecotourism resort must pay attention to, which we can see on the next slide. As the result of the pandemic, the tendency of tourists to choose what I call standalone accommodation is increasing, such as villas. Accommodation do not only function as rooms, but also as objects of tourists to fill their Instagram. For that, the design of the accommodation provided must also be unique, chic, and beautiful, which of course has sense of comfort, safety, and peace. It is absolutely necessary for a high-end eco-resort to provide Instagrammable spots, because this has a dual function. It is attractive of tourists, especially from the generation Gen Z, but at the same time, it is also an effective free marketing and branding method. In recent development, especially with the pandemic, the presence of all things related to digitalization is absolute, such as touchless or cashless payment, QR code menu, etc. Next, please. In this picture, you can see an accommodation in a traditional style, surrounded by beautiful nature filled with wild deer in the courtyard of the guest villa. Next, please. In addition of the traditional style accommodation, in this picture you can see an accommodation with a modern style that is Instagrammable. The accommodation on the previous slide and this slide again are in the same high-end ecotourism destination. Next, please. At the beginning of my explanation, it was stated that the high-end ecotourism I present was located in a conservation area. For that, attraction activities must be oriented to conservation principles. The outdoor activity must be an activity that does not burden tourists, so that tourists want to repeat it again the next day. Especially for interpretation, it must be done seriously by using up-to-date literature and compiled by people who understand biodiversity and environment. To remember that educational activities are also an attraction, not only tourists learn about biodiversity and the environment, but tourists are also given the opportunity to teach according to their competencies. Next, please. This is a picture show tourists joining an abducted tree program that is packaged with traditional Balinese music. Next, please. These are samples of outdoor attractions, conservation-based and light activities, so do not burden the tourists, but have an excellent natural and environmental qualities. So it is important to make sure that the quality of environment and nature as point of interest must be world-class. And as you see, this is not a mass tourism. This is a quality tourism. Next, please. This is an interesting picture. Show that tourists who are interested in Bali Starling conservation activities are not tourists who are not hardcore ecotourists. They are not hardcore ecotourists. They don't even dress with safari look. But they want to know, learn, and enjoy as an experience when visiting a Bali Starling sanctuary. Next, please. So those pictures that I shown in my previous slides is not I took from the internet. Those pictures are real that I get from a high-end ecotourism resort located in Bali Barat National Park, Indonesia. The name of the high-end eco resort is Pelataran. I would like to share Pelataran's short video clip. Enjoy it. Next.
From the very beginning, Pelataran has always stood on three pillars: nature, culture, and community.
Please turn on the sound, please.
Ecotourism is not a gimmick. Ecotourism has been in the gene and DNA of Pelataran from the first day of its inception until forever it may be. At Pelataran, we believe that Indonesia's nature is truly God's gift. And the way we can express our gratefulness is through protecting and taking care of it. We may not see God, but we can feel God's presence through nature. At Pelataran, we believe that Indonesia's culture is truly a treasure. And we are responsible to preserving and passing it on to future generations. We are proud Indonesians who ensure the legacy is passed down.
Thank you. Next, please. So this is a slide show some of recognitions and awards to Pelataran from different parties, internationally and locally. You see there's an award from the TripAdvisor, United Nations, the Green Destination, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and others. So no wonder if Pelataran nowadays become the one and only high-end eco resort in Indonesia. Next, please. This slide will end my presentation. I hope this presentation can enrich all of our ecotourism products locally and globally, and can attract more people to love ecotourism, which means more people will love nature, culture, and the surrounding community in a sustainable manner. Thank you. Back to you, Bu Devi.
Thank you very much, Pak David Marcus, for an excellent presentation, a great presentation, showing us an example of private sector involvement in ecotourism in Indonesia. And I think Pak David has pointed out that not all ecotourism enthusiasts are hard ecotourists. Some of them are what we can call high-end ecotourists who needs ecotourism experience, which is both fun and has education value and comfortable amenities such as shown by Pak David throughout his presentation. Thank you very much, Pak David, for sharing that with us and with the audience, online and offline. I'm sure the audience has many questions to us, but please hold on. We will have our third and last speaker, Ms. Wita Simatupang from Indonesia Ecotourism Network, who will share with us about community-based ecotourism in Indonesia, reflection after 20 years of ecotourism. Ms. Wita, 15 minutes is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Devi. Is everybody seeing my presentations? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, I will start anyway. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's great pleasure for me to be here for Indonesia, having peoples around the world in the Asia Pacific Ecotourism Summit, as well as from Indonesia. This morning, the Indonesian minister said that the ecotourism concept is very flexible, that it can be adopted both at the high end and also by communities. So it is an honor for me actually to be here voicing over many community-based ecotourism initiatives in Indonesia. And many of these communities, they might not know about the ecotourism like the expert or the scholars, but what they did was essentially ecotourism, probably more than I would have done myself or the expert would have done. Since it's quite a short time, so I will not tell about the whole stories, but I will try to share with you the primary lesson learned. Next. So perhaps similar with other countries globally, ecotourism start as an initiative to reduce pressure to conservation areas by providing alternative livelihood for the communities living adjacent to it or surrounding it. In Indonesia, we have impressive initiatives from local communities at Togian National Park in Central Sulawesi in 1995. At Halimun National Park, West Java, we have a colleague here working on that, started in 1999. Local communities in Senaru and Sembalun village at Rinjani National Park in West Java, and many others followed. I would like to share about one case next, which was showed earlier by Mr. Wiratno, but before that, I would like to share this is the approach of community-based ecotourism. So first, it's all about capacity building, because the communities, they were not tourism experts or tourism players. They were they're farmers, they are fishermen. So capacity building is very essential, because then it will increase their capacity to provide tourism services and to develop tourism products. Product development, very important. And I would like to appreciate Ibu Rizky Handayani as our Deputy Minister for Product Development in the Ministry for supporting ecotourism development in Indonesia, because this is very important for ecotourism. Tours and services to be offered to the tourists and as well as local souvenirs are very important for the sustainability of ecotourism business. Development planning, also very important, because we have to allocate space, time to allow harmony between the conservation activities and also between tourism activities. And to sustain that, we really need a good institutional development at the communities. Lastly, probably marketing, primarily promotion of the destination, the products, but more importantly is promotion of the message of the development. Next, please. This is Tangkahan. I will not share a lot about this. You probably know some persons in that. To me, Tangkahan is very interesting because they transform from illegal loggers to ecotourism players and also to conservationists. But it started by the young people, and these young people, they talk to their friends, and then the transformation was started in the family unit. So the youth, they spoke to their mothers, and then suddenly forest conservation became the topic during dinner time. So that's why Tangkahan was very strong, because the transform was embedded. It's very it's rooted in the people, but it's a long road for them. Next, please. This is the Tangkahan Simalem Rangers. So they followed lots of trainings, institutional development, and they are one of the first examples of local community-based starting establishment or MOU with the local authority for managing conservation areas. Next, please. Okay, so and then the community was posed to another challenge. We are asked to reduce negative impact of tourism and travel, particularly at destinations. So before they were focused on conservation areas spot, but now it's getting larger in scale. We have initiatives from local communities at Pangandaran, where I learned a lot from my colleague here, Ibu Wiwin, in the room. And also Tiga Warna East Java, and also Raja Ampat in West Papua. Interesting examples in Tiga Warna that I would like to share to you. Next. Tiga Warna is a coastal area in East Java. So East Java is one of the most, not one of the most, it is the most populated island in Indonesia. So finding a beautiful beach in Java can be quite challenging, yeah, Ibu Devi. And it's dominated by domestic tourists. The products, interestingly, are combination of fun experience and also conservation activities. Next. So the fish stock over like 20 years ago, the fish stock decreased due to degradation of the coastal area. And then a local organization, Chilungup Mangrove Conservation or CMC, they started community-based conservation activities in the area. And then only later, in 2014, they started tourism. And they put very strict management system on the area. So they implemented a reservation system. So everybody has to reserve before going into the place. And they set the visitor quota system. So only 100% is allowed on the beach for every 2 hours. And then, so if other destinations extend their open hours during high season, this one closed. Yeah, this one closed because they want to have the spot hills instead, because usually during high season there are high number of visitors. They also restrict chemical soaps and shampoo on the beach and implant strict special planning for activities and access. In 2019, based on our data, it was visited by, this is before COVID, more than 60,000 visitors. Next. Next. berjalan. It doesn't move. Yeah, well, if you see the picture on the right, that is the briefing before you enter the beach. Can I have the next slides, please? No? Okay. So very interesting also in this place is they have a strict waste management system. So before you enter the beach, you are requested to show what you bring in your bag. And they will make checklists of things which can become potential waste. And then you are requested to look after them and bring them back when you get out of the beach. If you don't, and then you have to do some cleaning, or you can pay some fees. Something wrong with my slides? Okay. Yes. And what yang tadi dulu? Yes. And to make us happy, the visitors are happy. So we always think that strict management that will put visitors away, but not. As you can see in the table, this is just a recent survey in 2021. 100% of the visitors feel that waste checklists increase their quality of experience. And 98% of them also considered that the reservation and then the quota system, it increased their comfort of traveling. So those local managers, don't be afraid to have this good sustainable management in your place. Next one, please. Okay, so and then furthermore, the community were requested to contribute into larger role for society, into things which are beyond its usual cause. We are requested to contribute into society bonding, becoming a strong network. We are requested to assist youth and women to pursue their dreams, especially like young women in rural areas. And then we are also requested to link local economy into tourism development. Next one, please. This is a very interesting examples. I would like to take you to Flores in East Nusa Tenggara. It's probably similar with many other initiatives. You'd see that in ecotourism areas, people develop products and also souvenirs. But sometimes we forget that we try to unconsciously, tourism try to transform the local communities fully into or as tourism players. So, but we believe that they should not. So if they are farmers, becoming an ecotourism player doesn't mean that they have to give up their farmland. Instead, they have to keep it. And then the COVID pandemic-19 situation proved that it was right. Those villages where local people keep their primary livelihood, they did not. I mean, they suffered, of course, but they did not collapse. Their economy stays even during COVID-19. So this is what we have to strengthen, to support. Next one, please. Okay, this is Wairebo in Flores. They were struggling. I think some 15 years ago, they were struggling to maintain their existence. Only the very little kids and the grannies who live in this very remote area in Flores. Then the youth, they flee, they went out of the country, went out of the village. They have great dependency on low-valued crops. Why low-valued? Not because it is not good, but because it has such a bad infrastructure to bring the crops to market. And then the other village, next one, please. In Tololela, in Ngada, it's also uh, similar, very high dependent on the plantation, quite not as far as Wairabo, but quite far from the cities. Next one, please. So before the pandemic, Wairabo already hosted 7,800 visitors, and they earn quite a lot. But what I would like to point out here is that besides tourism, they also try to link their primary products, which is coffee, as products for the tourists. So instead of creating new products, they improve the quality of their coffee to be sold as souvenirs for the tourists. And after sometimes, this was accounted for around 20% of their income. So and in Tololela, if you see the pie chart, so previously they were very dependent on the donation, but after this approach, they improved their local products, and then the sale of the local products was accounted 41%, and homestay was 81%, and then the donation was only 27%. And I would like to take your attention to the other pie chart, which shows how Wairabo people distribute their income. This is also a very important aspect of sustainable management. So besides all the usual business like, I would like to show that they allocated their income to support their elderly, to support scholarships for the youth, to maintain their local environment. So all these things after the years have successfully, I would like to say, persuade the Wairabo youth to stay in the village and even to invite back the youth that had previously fled when leaving the village to come back. So this is another aspect. Sometimes we are so concerned on the number of visitors, but Wairabo showed that there are other impacts beyond a number of visitors that we could learn from them. Okay, last one. Yeah, these are pictures of their local products. Next. So last, many people associated community-based tourism with small-scale development, but actually communities can also contribute into the welfare and the development of much larger than just their attraction or their households. Good examples from next one, a small village in Java. Next. Yes, Langran village. This is a small village in Gunung Kidul district in Yogyakarta. It was just recently nominated as one of the UNWTO best tourism village. It was previously poor area, and then the ecotourism development has provided economic activities to local communities. The interesting point is on the next slide, which I would like to show you. If many other destinations became sad when their number of tourists decreased, right? But not with this village. Next slide, please. So if you see in the table, in the last 5 years, the number of visitors decreased, but they're happy. Why? Because their income increased. Less hectic, less hustle, less task, more money. So that's the good learning of Ngelangran, and then with the increasing role, and then the local community groups, they can contribute into wider development of the village. They can increase cash contribution to the village income. So okay, next one. And this is just but it has been discussed, I think, by the other two speakers. I would like to skip to the last one. So that's the community-based initiatives in Indonesia. I mean, we might be small, but we can make big contribution. So I would like to invite you, if you come to these beautiful destinations managed by local communities, please just don't admire the beautiful nature. You might have to go back, take a look, and meet these amazing communities. This is a map of them, but the list is not exhaustive. I'm sure there are many, many other more. So perhaps we can meet these amazing communities in our next travel. Thank you, Ibu Devi.
Thank you, Ms. Wita, for a very inspiring presentation. And we have followed the presentation, and we've seen so many good examples, lesson learned from Tangkahan, for instance, for the first example, where the young people are actually the first one in the community to have the awareness and bring the talk of the forest conservation, the dinner table, yeah, as Ms. Wita said. And Tiga Warna Beach, with its Celungup Mangrove Conservation organization, they have a strict waste management system and also strict visitor management system, which is, actually instilled by the community themselves. And we've seen several examples from the island of Flores in East Nusa Tenggara Province. Tourism development is actually linked with local productions, in this case agriculture, and we also see examples of diversification of income sources and allowing more people to engage and get the benefits of tourism. And last but not least, Ms. Wita also showed us an example of Ngelanggeran, a tourism village, which is one of the best as nominated by the United Nations World Tourism Organizations, where an interesting phenomena actually happened, where tourists actually, the number decreased, but the receipts actually increased due to the quality tourism that they've been doing in the last few years. So thank you very much, Ms. Wita, for sharing that with all the audience. And we have come to the question and answer session, and I think I can we have 20 minutes, so I think I can open the question and answer session for three audiences. And maybe let me start with the people who are here with us on offline first. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. Okay, how do we do this? Okay, Bu Wiwin, and the first one is, can you introduce yourself? Okay, please introduce yourself, your name and affiliation, and if you would like to direct the question to one of the speakers, please do so.
Okay, thank you for this occasion for me. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Akib Hamza. I'm from University of Pajajaran. Okay, I would like to ask for Mr. Wiratno. The question is, as you know, the main purpose of ecotourism is to change behavior of people. And from your presentation, we know that Tangkahan, local people of Tangkahan in the beginning were logging, but by time they changed being forest keeper. So how did you and your team do or did to change the local people habit? It's not easy. I'm really sure that it's not easy that as we think. Apalagi melihat daripada habit Indonesian people, we know that it's not easy for startup. So, what was the first step that you taken and your team to change the local people habit? That's my question. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I think we should just answer directly. Pak Wiratno, would you mind? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. In my experience, if normally government mention solve the symptom, yeah, illegal logging, poaching, forest encroachment. This is all the symptom. We have to find out the core problem. The core problem is like poverty, or they don't have any enough land for their agriculture, their family, or awareness, and also because of all this mafia of logging. So one is poverty, second is because the greedy of the people, elite group. Yeah. So we treated differently. In Tangkan with Mas Ari, and Mas Ari started also to earlier than me, ya. Tahun berapa Mas Ari? 2000, 1999 start with Mas Ari, and I became a park manager in 2005 until 2007. But we support the local people. So the story is very long. It started into 1970s, all the illegal loggers and all those things. Yeah. So what we did is we rather go visit the village and talk with people and start talking about the problem and what is the possible solution for that problem. Because for us, cutting the trees is the problem for the government, but for the poor people, cutting the trees is the solution because they are poor. So we have to do the matching and make an agreement that we have to stop it. There's a long story, and there's a book, story of Tangkan, written by me and Mas Ari, also the story about that. So later we can talk again about the Tangkan. But the principle is that the government, the park authority have to go to the local people and talk about the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wiratno. I hope that answered your question. Humanistic approach is needed, ya Pak ya, and providing alternative income instead of just banning people from entering the forest and making use the resources that are available. Okay, for the second question, we have Bu Wiwin from Indonesia Interpretation Society. And maybe before we come to another, audience here, our team in the back, if there are questions from our audience online, please also, let me know. Thank you. Bu Wiwin, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. I just can help not to miss this opportunity to talk to Pak Wiratno actually. Pak Wiratno, I was struck with the result of the survey that was delivered by Pak Glenn this morning that said that actually ecotourism required the first rank they need is the quality guide, and number 15 is the concern is about conservation. So for me, who come from the field of interpretation, it is a true failure there. It shows that how can this guide cannot not failure. Actually, we can see the opportunity to link this guide to conservation. I also learned that Vita said that even experience of collecting garbage or checking the garbage is part of the experience that was fun and appreciated by the visitors. So for me, being a guide, ecotourist guide or interpreter require more than ability to show good places, but also to find a spiritual meaning of the places. So it will need very high level. I've been working with some naturalist guides in several national parks, and working with them is always how to say mencerahkan ya atau enlightening gitu ya for me because I learned a lot from them. However, I also see what was delivered by the research result this morning is true because the guide in the national park is how to say they need to improve their good story, good meaningful story, quality experience, spiritual, mindful experience. Moreover, you did mention about this program Healing Forest. It is even need a more deeper guide to help visitors to get to this state of mindfulness. So I understand it is not a part of the national park or conservation area to provide tourism get tourist experience. There are lots of problems that faced by the Ministry of Forestry and the Environment. However, I'm longing for more structural or systemic change in the ministry to be able to internalize or accommodate the improvement of quality of interpreter in the area. I've been observing the ministry and seeing that this is kind of difficult to do. I don't know. That's why I would like to appeal to Pak Wiratno whether this is possible. Can we expect that? If we see in other countries, probably there are good examples how the ministry facilitate interpreters to learn. There is a unit in the ministry specific addressing that issue of helping the interpreter to improve their capacity. So that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bu Wiwin, for very intriguing question about how can we expect a better interpretation and I think it is back to Tilden's from interpretation comes understanding, appreciation, and protection. Okay, silakan Pak Wiratno.
I think we need your support to have a personal interpreter and the narration of the park, for instance. We have a warisan dunia, the World Heritage symbol, and the Komodo. What is mean for us, even for my staff, also for interpreter. So in fact, we can Bu Kiki, we can work together with Bu Wiwin and other experts. I love to work with experts and what we call it pentahelix collaboration. It is important and it is still weak that we realize that and then I think it is in 2020 we can work together closer and meaningful and work at the site level. Thank you, Bu Wiwin.
Thank you, Pak Wiratno, and hopefully this meeting will lead to future collaborations in strengthening and developing better interpretation, yeah, for national parks or World Heritage Sites in Indonesia and perhaps in other countries as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some questions from our online audience. So let me read it. The first one is.
Yes, can I have a question, please?
Yeah. Oh, is it live?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Pak, can we have your name and question, please?
Yes, my name is Sirajuddin. I am from Lombok Tourism Polytechnic. Yes.
Yeah, Pak, can we have your question, please?
Yes. Previously, I have asked Mr. Pompo, and I would like clear discussion about ecotourism close to destination area. In Indonesia, we have many destination, man-made destination, I like in Lombok, in Mandalika, and Labuan Bajo. I was my previously, but I'm not have a good answer about this because ecotourism today, many areas was developed by the new tourist destination. So from the speakers, from local or international speaker on these days, they don't have discussed about ecotourism close to the destination area. My question is, how anticipation about new destination or man-made tourism collaborate with the ecotourism? For example, in Labuan Bajo, in Padar Islands, they have made resort and close to the Komodo. They have made close to another island. So my question here is how the expert of ecotourism, yeah, anticipate the new tourist destination developing by Indonesian government in order to partake in developing this area. Many tourism area in Indonesia, like in Danau Toba, in Borobudur, is should be correlation or close definition in planning and development about this tourism. I believe ecotourism and tourist destination, especially in Labuan Bajo, they have the same goal to develop an Indonesian local economy, local communities, and also to developing area, especially for new destination, in order to increase the number of visitors, increase of local economy. This is the first question. For my second question, I would like to know from the ecotourism expert how they anticipate with the new destination correlate with the ecotourism we have planning. Because there is nothing. What they talk about the new destination or man-made tourism nowadays is very high appreciation by for government of Indonesia for Mandalika as the super priority destination. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Can I wrap up your, can I maybe summarize your question? Yeah, thank you very much. And who would you like to direct your question to?
I think to Mr. David, I think so.
Mr. David? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Pak David, the question is, the first one, I think if I get it right, how can we have better collaboration between man-made attractions and also ecotourism? And how about the opportunity of developing ecotourism in new destinations? Yeah, Pak, yeah. I think that's your second question.
Yes, I need the close with the tourist destination area developing by Indonesian, especially for super priority like Labuan Bajo and Mandalika is mean because there is no speaker talk about the close the ecotourism with the destination super priority developing by Indonesia because 90% of Indonesian new destination is close to ecotourism like in Labuan Bajo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak. We get it. So the second question is related to the context of super priority destination and priority destinations. Yeah, David, if you're still with us, you may answer the question.
Thank you, Pak Sirajuddin, for the questions.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.
I agree very much with you that we need to explore how the super destination or the new destination top priority that's setting up by the government can be related with ecotourism.
Yes, right, sir. Thank
As
you.
far as I know, ecotourism should reflect with nature, culture, interpretation, that's important, education and community. So if we can, let's see, make a list of each super destination from this aspect, and then from there we can design actually the ecotourism aspect. And about a man-made attraction, I think as far as I experience with any ecotourism destination, there should be always a man-made facility that can, let's see, put more value of the origin, nature, or culture that make ecotourist enthusiasts become more convenient to enjoy their ecotourism attraction and activities. I hope this will explain and answer your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak David Marcus and Pak Sirajuddin, for the question. Ladies and gentlemen, I think due to our limited time, we have come to the end of our session. We are sorry for the participants who have write their questions, and we would like to ask for the kindness of our invited speakers here. They can respond through the chat room on Zoom. And before we end the session, I have an announcement to make. Mr. Wiratno has a very exciting book that he wrote on the 54 national parks in Indonesia. It is in limited number. So audiences who are interested in having the book written by Pak Wiratno, yes, with Pak Wiratno and colleagues and team, can contact the organizing committee to follow up after this. And we would like to thank the audience and also online and offline who are with us since morning, and for Ibu Rizky Handayani, the Deputy Minister for Tourism Development, Tourism Product Development and Events, and also Pak Alexander Ren for as the Director of Special Interest Tourism, who are with us since morning, and also, of course, Mr. Ari Suhandri, who is the Director of Indonesia Ecotourism Network, Ibu Wiwin from the Indonesia Interpretation Society, and also Ibu Dr. Evi Novianti as the Head of Department of Masters of Sustainable Tourism in Pajajaran University, for being with us and staying with us since morning. Thank you very much for all speakers for your wonderful and great sharing and presentation. Thank you very much, and I end this session. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I give back to you, our Master of Ceremony, Dinda. Thanks.